You are now listening to a member of the Disney Podcast family. Head over to Disney Podcast Family on Instagram to see all the latest posts for this show and links to other great Disney podcasts.
Melissa Pilgrim is our choice for your next Disney vacation. You can reach her at amagicalpilgrimage@gmail.com. We thank her for her support.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados de las puertas.
So today on Miles from Main Street, I'm here with my beautiful wife, Tammy.
Hello.
She's helping me out this week while Mikhailo is still busy. We actually just got back from a trip to Mount Rushmore, so we've been busy too. But we're going to talk about our Mount Rushmore. I thought it was kind of fitting. So we'll talk about resorts, rides, and restaurants.
Yes.
But before we get into that, a little thing called D23 Fan Event, it used to be the Expo, happened this past weekend.
It did?
The big thing that happened is a parks presentation given by Josh tomorrow. This is the one that everyone always waits for every year for this show to happen. And, you know, they give us all of the ideas they have, all of the plans that they have to do. The last couple of years when they've done this presentation, it's been blue sky. Just some ideas that they have that they're working, you know, nothing concrete. And we're always looking at them going, but you have that epic universe being built. What are you going to do about it? And I think everyone's response was going to be, well, you need another park. I've been skeptic of that. You've heard me on the show in the past say that I don't think they need another park yet, but you know, we'll get there at some point. Right now, I think the ideas that they've come up with are an answer to Epic Universe.
Yeah, if they actually execute them all in a timely fashion.
That's the question, right? Is it going to be timely? So I thought we'd run over the announcements quickly. See what you think, what I think. And there's been a little bit of more development. You guys are hearing this Tuesday morning. We're recording this Monday night, so
right.
We're timely here. But the big surprise, that the one that I was most surprised about, was a Monsters Inc. land is going into Hollywood Studios. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I can see it fitting into that park well, especially
yes.
if they're putting it back in the Toy Story Pixar area. I don't know, like it looks super cool. I'm excited for it. I mean, why would you not want to ride where you could zoom through the doors if you're doing Monsters Inc?
Right.
Like, that's one of the coolest things about that movie, I think, is that any door you go through, you're in a different place.
Right. And I think I know that the Doors ride, and this is the Doors coaster. If you remember the movie, the doors you can go into a door and end up anywhere. That's how they find Boo in the movie. They're going to do that. They're going to have the claw that picks up the door. You're going to be flying through this, and it's been an idea for quite some time. I know there was an Imagineer, and I am forgetting who it was at this point. I want to say it's Kevin Rafferty. But he had an idea for this door ride initially and took it to management, and they said, no, right now we can't do that. We need a smaller ride, because we all know that every ride at Hollywood Studios is pretty much e-ticket, right? Mm-hmm. So I know this has been an idea, been going around for a while, and I hope it really gets going and it happens. I'm worried about where it's going. I don't know. We might be losing Muppets for good.
I hope not.
I know.
I'd rather see them add more Muppets.
I agree. And but I think we are the few that think that at this point. I did read a comment today in one of the Facebook groups I'm in that it's our kids' turn to now enjoy the things that they've grown up with.
Right.
So that brings me to the next thing, which is Cars in the Magic Kingdom. This is going in Frontierland, and the news today is that they're going to take out the Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island and replace it with a mud pit that have cars going through it. I don't know how I feel about Cars being in Magic Kingdom. I feel like it would be better fit in Hollywood Studios, but this is where we're at. And you know, I always put my faith into the Imagineers, and I believe they're going to do something great. It'll be a thrill ride with the mud pit thing, and then there's going to be another family friendly ride, and I'm excited to see it. So hopefully that works out. What do you think?
Yeah, this one I don't know how to feel about either. What did surprise me is that our 19-year-old or 18-year-old, sorry, was like excited about it, and our kids never watched Cars a lot when they were little.
Right.
Maybe our son a little bit, but it surprised me that she was excited about it. And I think she's excited about it because she loved Radiator Springs so much. And I know like you were trying to tell her that's not what this is going to be.
It's not.
So I don't know. I love Tom Sawyer's Island. Like that's one of the things I remember a lot from being younger and going to Disney. It was exploring Tom Sawyer's Island with my parents. So like I'm a little sad about that, but also I can see why. Like it needed a change. I don't think a lot of people were utilizing that space.
No.
So.
No, and that's the big thing going on right now at specifically Magic Kingdom in Hollywood Studios is they need more capacity. They need more things for people to do. And the riverboat and the Tom Sawyer Island, people aren't using that, right?
Right.
So they need to just kind of let that go because it's time for our kids. And I love that person that said that that it's time for our kids to get to live their memories and their movies. So so with Cars going in there, that brings us to the Beyond Big Thunder ideas that they've been giving us over the last couple of years, and that is turning out to be Villains Land. I think it's super exciting. I think Villains Land is going to be the talk of the town when it finally opens, which I think they're shooting for like a 2029 opening.
I don't know much about it other than it's happening. Have they said what it's going to be like yet?
2 rides, eateries, and shops.
Okay. But they haven't said like what kind of ride.
No, they haven't given us an idea of what it's going to look like yet. Okay. Which is why I believe they said 2029 would be the earliest. So if you look back at Star Wars, it took 6 years. I think Avatar took 6 years. So pushing this, and well, okay. So that brings me to the first thing that Mr. DeMauro said at the beginning of the show was that the projects they were announcing are shovel ready, and even some dirt has been started moving.
Yeah, none of them were just blue sky ideas. Yeah.
And so it's like these are ideas that they are ready to move on. Mm-hmm. And so I know there's been some work being done back behind Big Thunder. So it's, like I'm assuming that this is happening. This is one that's going to happen. The Cars one feels more like some of the things we've lost. The Mary Poppins, the Spaceship Earth redo, the pavilion they were going to put in the middle of Epcot. Was it the Garden Pavilion? Someone say something down below and let me know if I'm right on that. But, the Play Pavilion. These were things that were going to be redone. Villains Land is taking up new land. So it's something that they can they got a blank slate, throw it in as long as the money is there, which, pending another COVID situation, it should be because they've been planning for this now for 3-4 years, right? So I'm excited for Villains Land. I haven't asked you what you think yet.
That was probably like the announcement that I was most excited about. Been wanting that for a while, and I think it'll be really cool. you were talking about how you found like a meme or something that said that the Kingdom Keepers went through all that trouble to keep this from happening nowadays. Well, I read not all of those books, but I read a good chunk of them, and that is what A Villain's Land is going to remind me of, is reading those books. And like it just has the potential of being very cool, and I'm sure that they will do a very cool job with it.
I think it'll be really cool too. I can't wait to see it. I hope we get a castle of some sort.
Yeah. I'm hoping for like Maleficent's castle with like maybe the dragon wound around it or something. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. So yeah, we get that, and now like a little more urgently, I guess, we get Tropical Americas in Animal Kingdom. This is going to replace Dinoland. It's going to start pretty quickly. Ernest, that's the word I was looking for a little bit ago. They've already got equipment in place to start this. There is not a date said as far as closing Dinosaur, but they've got that space where Primeval World was. That's already going to start. They could start back there already without even bothering anyone, right? But it looks like we're getting a Indiana Jones ride, completely new story, but I did see the same ride vehicle in the concept art they showed that's in Dinosaur. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of the same thing. We'll see what happens. It'll be loved no matter what, I'm sure of it. The exciting part about this, though, is the madrigals are coming, and we're going to get the casita.
Yeah. I mean, that whole area needed to be redone, and I'll be honest, I'm not sad about any of that going away. Like, we always rode Dinosaur, but not my favorite ride by far. So I think what I will miss the most back there was the gift shop. They had a pretty decent gift shop back there that a lot of people didn't go to. So I feel like you could find some of the things you couldn't find anywhere else back there. But yeah, I don't know. I'm very excited for the Casita because I love the music from that movie. Like,
the music is great, and the fact that we're going to see, is it Antonio getting his gift, right? Yeah. So Antonio's getting his gift, right? Yeah. I think that's going to be really fun to see that story play out. Something that we haven't seen yet. So I am scrolling quickly through the other things. There was an announcement of 2 new lounges coming to Disney World. One is going to be, I think it's going to replace Tortuga Tavern, and it's going to be a Pirates themed lounge. And the other one is going to be a Spaceship Earth lounge. Not sure where that one's going to be, but it's not going to be one of those specific ones, not a DVC or an AP type lounge. This is for anyone to go and visit. So you'll be able to do. I'm excited for the Pirates one. I think that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think so too.
Test Track, they're expecting that to open this year, or not this year. I'm sorry, in 2025. I don't know what that means. Sometime next year. My guess is going to be near the end of the year. Not sure how that'll play out, though. I know they've been planning to do that for a little while now. Mandalorian and Grogu will get an adventure on the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, which I think is pretty interesting. It's still a new ride, and they're going to change over the video now.
Yeah, I think it probably has more to do with just keeping relevant. I mean, it's a very popular franchise for them right now, so
yeah, and it might drive a little more traffic back there. I know people are kind of getting tired of the sequel trilogy timeline, so I think that'll be interesting to have that in there. And the last thing, a new nighttime parade is coming to Magic Kingdom. I was hearing rumblings of this. There was talk of maybe it'd be a new daytime parade. But there would be a new nighttime parade, and he came through for me. We're getting Disney Starlight, and I can't wait to see it. I loved the Main Street Electrical Parade when I got to see it. Have a lot of great memories with the kids, and I can't wait to see this one.
Me too. I loved that. Same as you. I loved the Main Street Electrical Parade. Um, I, it'll be amazing. Just the pictures that they showed already, it looks super cool. So
Agreed. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. And we're talking about going in the summer. They're saying summer of 2025, at least. So the article Disney Parks blog put out says 2025. It doesn't give anything more tight than that. A tight timeline, I guess. But this one says 2025. Josh said it would be summer. I'm hoping Memorial Day is when it happens.
that's just because we're planning on going in early June. So
Exactly.
you want it done before.
Exactly. But I will remind you that summer is June 20th to September 20th. Those are the months. And a lot of times when they say summer, it's September. So hopefully this parade gets up and running quicker than that. I know we got to build the floats and everything, but I always find it funny that it takes time to create a parade.
Yeah. But I mean, like you said, the floats have to be built. You have to all of those dancers that walk in between the floats have to be trained in their choreography.
That's true. And conditioned. I mean, that is a long parade to do that much dancing. So I understand. All right. So that's the news. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Send me a text. You can text us and in the show notes. If you go look, there's a link there to text us. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these announcements. What you think. You've heard ours, and so let us know. And I'm going to take this moment, because I forgot at the top, to remind you to go share this with a friend. We love talking to you guys. I hope you love listening to us. Let somebody else know about it so that they can join us and have something fun listening. We have some great changes on the way next month. I can't wait to announce this stuff. I think it's going to be great. A lot more content coming, and it's going to be epic. Okay. We went to the Black Hills of South Dakota. It is, we're in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So it's basically 3 states away, because we're crossing all of Wisconsin, Minnesota, and South Dakota. So it's a good 12-hour journey by car, dragging my camper the whole way. And it was stressful at times. A lot of hills that I was pulling that thing through. And then after we set up camp, we were driving around. We did the Needles Highway. We did Custer State Park. We drove through mountains by Mount Rushmore a lot. Yep. And some of these drives, you're looking down a cliff as you're going around the corner. So it's kind of stressful. But on the way home, after visiting Mount Rushmore, I thought, I believe, and I didn't go back and look, but I'm pretty sure Mikhailo and I at some point talked about our Mount Rushmore of Disney in some fashion. But Tammy wasn't here for that. And it got me thinking about what I had learned about Mount Rushmore and how we could apply that to Disney. So we're going to stick specifically to Disney World. Yep. And I'm going to give you a quick history lesson on Mount Rushmore. Okay, so you've got George Washington, and he was picked because he's the father of our country. He was the first president and led our revolution. Yep. So he is up there. Next to him is Thomas Jefferson, who wrote the Declaration of Independence, the one thing we kind of hold sacred to our country. And next to him is Teddy Roosevelt. I don't know why they're out of order. I don't know either. They didn't say. But Teddy Roosevelt was picked because he's basically the creator of our national park system, which is why we get to have a Mount Rushmore. Then next to him is Abraham Lincoln, who was chosen because of his advancements during the Civil War and the freeing of slaves. Yes. So in that vein, with that idea in mind, I said, let's do a Mount Rushmore of Disney World. We're going to break it up. We're going to do our rides. We're going to do resorts, and we're going to do restaurants. And with the idea of why the presidents were chosen for Mount Rushmore, I thought we'd try to do that with this. So it's not necessarily our top 4, our best 4, right? At least for me. I'm thinking more along the lines of what would you put on a Mount Rushmore that means the most to Disney World?
Right.
So I'll start if you would like.
Sure.
Okay. So rides. The first one I'll put up here, and this is strictly Disney World and Disney World alone, which made it difficult because there are rides at Disneyland that if it was just Disney, I would probably add.
Right.
Okay. So thinking father of our country type of thing, I've got 2 ideas there. I'm going to pick Tiki Room as the first one. And I'm not going to categorize each pick. I'm just going to say this is why they're on there. So the Tiki Room, this is the first audio animatronic, the birds, the reason why we have the advancements in robots that we have. I mean, this is what Walt started us with. So you got to have the Tiki Room there. Now, it might not necessarily be a ride, but it's an attraction and it's meaningful. The next piece of my puzzle would be the Carousel of Progress, because the 1964 World's Fair was a large piece of history to Disney, and this was originally there at that. There's a reason why this is still around, the advancements that were created because of it. So we have Tiki Room, Carousel of Progress. Those are giving us the big audio animatronic pieces.
Yep.
All right. So the next piece for me is what else harkens back to Mr. Walt Disney. Okay. And that's going to be Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Because what better way to talk about where it all began than with the mouse? And I don't know that we'd have a Disney without Mickey Mouse at this point. The largest licensed character ever, and you know, he's important to everything. And it's an incredible ride. It has great advancements from the ride technology that's in there, you know, the trackless ride system, and just the amount I love it, plain and simple. So and then finally Rise of the Resistance, and that's basically because this is the most technical ride there at Disney World. I know Frozen's open over in Tokyo, and there's a lot of talk about how awesome that is, but we're not talking about Tokyo, we're talking about Disney World. Right? So those are my 4: the Carousel of Progress, Tiki Room, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. That's always such a mouthful. And then finally, Rise of the Resistance.
Okay.
For all those reasons I said.
I don't disagree with you. I don't match you at all.
No.
Which is surprising to me.
We did not talk about this at all
Yeah.
beforehand. So I'm excited to hear what you've chosen.
So, in no particular order, I've chosen It's a Small World.
I had that in my head as well.
It's been around forever. It's iconic Disney to me. It's got all the Mary Blair outfits. I have to ride it whenever we go. Like,
I mean, you're right. It's iconic.
Yeah.
It's been around forever. It's another one of those World's Fair projects.
right. And to me, part of the reason I like it
Mhm.
is talk about an all-inclusive ride ahead of its time. Like that's a big deal right now to be all-inclusive, and that ride has been promoting that for years.
Exactly. Yep.
I just think that's awesome how it's like stood through the
test of time.
Test of time. Yes, that's the words I was looking for. So yeah, that one. Haunted Mansion. So my reasoning for Haunted Mansion is a little bit different because with that one I kind of thought about how you have the 4 different people on Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
And with Haunted Mansion, you're gonna have to help me because I'm awful with like the history stuff, but it's
Oh, that was my fault. I hit a button. Hang on. And we're back. That was my fault. I was shifting my foot and I tapped a button and
you just wanted a spooky atmosphere.
I did, yes.
So my reasoning was a little bit different because I thought about how the 4 people on Mount Rushmore, and I thought about how it was Claude Coates, Mark Davis, and they both had like different ideas. Like one wanted it to be spooky, one wanted it to be funny, and then Xavier Atencio.
Yeah,
Atencio.
Yeah.
Like combined both ideas together and kind of made it a combo. And then you've got what's her name in the crystal ball? Leota
Tombs. Yeah.
Something. Yeah. I'm really bad with names like that. But so that's why I have that on there. Just because it kind of reminded me of Mount Rushmore, how there was all these different ideas and they combined them together. Plus, it's like one of my favorite rides. So that's the reason why. So
Mark Davis is the funny part at the end. Ken Anderson actually brought a lot of the ideas at the beginning.
Okay.
So yeah, you were good. Good job. Good job.
Thanks.
Yes.
Next I have the safari.
Okay. Safari.
Do you want to know why?
Of course I want to know why.
Because if you know anything about Walt Disney, which you know way more than I do, he was very big into conservation.
Mm-hmm.
And what better ride to exhibit that than the safari? Like, I think he would be very proud of what that safari is, because Jungle Cruise, he wanted it to be live animals, but they couldn't make it happen, and now they basically have that, but on a much grander scale. So just something that I think reminds me of him, and something that he would be really excited about if he was still here.
I love that we're kind of on the same wavelength of history and what this stuff is really doing for the company and for the parks.
Yeah. I had a really hard time with my 4th one. And I still.
Are you like waffling right now? Like, I don't know what to choose.
No, I know what I'm going to say. It's just that I don't want to say it.
Uh-oh.
Space Mountain.
Okay. All right.
And it again goes back to like that he was so futuristic. He liked, space, discovering new things and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that I personally do not like that ride. I think it's jerky. I don't care if I really ever ride it again. Will I ride it again? Probably. But that just kind of reminds me of him. The one I was going back and forth with for that was Spaceship Earth, kind of for the same reasons. But like, that ride is just super boring. Like, if I had to pick between the two, I'd pick Space Mountain.
Don't tell the Phoenicians.
I know. Sorry.
No, I love the ideas that you have, and I wish we would have gotten you on Space Mountain at Disneyland, because it's so much smoother. And if you're a Disneyland person and haven't ridden Space Mountain at Disney World, think of riding the Matterhorn. Same idea.
Yeah, but I liked the Matterhorn, so I don't know.
Yeah, I did too. I don't know. You've had so many bad experiences that you come off sore and achy that I can understand that. Yeah. So
do not ride it as big as I am with a popcorn bucket. I think that's what did me in with that ride, is I had a popcorn bucket like wedged against my knee, and it was the most uncomfortable ride I've ever had.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to get you in there quickly and get moving, and it's stressful.
Yeah.
All right. So do you want to go first with resorts?
Sure. Okay. Again, in no particular order.
No particular order.
Contemporary.
Okay.
One of my favorites, we stayed there, Loved our stay. I love that the monorail goes through it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's got the most amazing gift shop.
Mm-hmm.
It has Chef Mickey's,
Yep.
which is a great restaurant.
Sure is.
Has California Grill, which is a fantastic restaurant.
I'm right there with you.
It's got history because it's been around the whole time.
Day one.
Yep. So that's why.
That's why. Perfect.
Art of animation.
Okay.
My reasoning for that one is you've got the two modes of transportation, the buses and the Skyliner, which is nice. And I like it's very Disney heavy in its theming. So like you feel like you're in a movie, which I love the deluxe resorts, but I also really like being surrounded by like all the stuff and the colors.
Yes.
And I like that they have the suites there, so it's a better option for a bigger family, which we have. So that's my reasoning for that one. The Polynesian, because again, been around since like day one ish.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Thought I would like staying there more than I actually did, but I still think it's a great resort. I just think they need to bring some more stuff back to it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it's beautiful. Like it's with all the palm trees and stuff. You can watch Happily Ever After from the beach. Again, you have the monorail for your transportation, which is great. So that's my pick for that one. The artwork too around the building is like, I don't know, like you knew an artist that had some of them.
Yeah, friend of the show. We had him on last summer.
Yeah.
Tom Thordarson. So back in the old days of the lobby, they had his paintings up behind the front desk, and they also made prints of them and had them all over the resort. But when they redid the resort, they took those prints down. I would love to get my hands on one of them. But they kept the originals. And if you walk out of the elevator the next time you're heading to Ohana for dinner, you walk out of the elevator on that second floor, there's two paintings right there in front of you as you walk out. Those are Tom's. And I actually messaged him and said, I found them, because he wasn't sure where they were. And he was excited that they're still there and still on display, and they're beautiful. And as you know from that interview, he is very heavy into the tiki world now, which lends to his Polynesian art being there. And it just is full circle and really cool.
And speaking of Ohana Tambu Lounge, like those are the other reasons too for picking it. Like it's got great restaurant options. I don't love the gift shops there as much as I do at the Contemporary, but it depends what you're looking for. Like if you're looking for like some Polynesian tiki inspired stuff, they have some pretty cool stuff in there.
They do.
Gift shop, you can mail a coconut, which we did one time. Like just some more unique options.
It's actually sitting up here above this on this shelf. You can't see it, sorry.
And then my fourth resort is the Wilderness Lodge. I thought about why. Partly it's just I like it, but it has Artist Point in it, which I think is a good restaurant. And I think it kind of reminds me of we've gone to Marceline and like saw the barn and saw like the town where he grew up, and it's just kind of rustic there, and like that's kind of what that resort reminds me of, is like the rustic and the old trains and all that kind of stuff that Disney was into.
Yeah, and that's
it's got the train room,
right?
And stuff, yeah.
Right, yeah. So those are great picks, and I'll tell you my four. Contemporary, because it's old and it's original. Polynesian, because it's old and original. But those two, so the Contemporary fits because if we want to push it back to Walt Disney, that's the one spot that we know he stood.
Right.
Was out on the water bank there. But that was an advancement in architecture, the way that they built the rooms offsite and then slid them into place. That was just a way that they, that he was pushing technology. He also loved Hawaii and the Polynesian culture and all of that. So that's why Polynesian works so well and fits so well. And those were my first two picks. The next one goes to French Quarter. And again, that's a nod to Disney because he absolutely loved New Orleans. He went there. That's where the bird was found that was created, the Tiki Room birds. He loved going there. He loved the food, all of that. So having a resort that's a French Quarter resort fits right in. Finally, I picked Art of Animation. And again, I was trying to fill in all three levels of resorts, but the Art of Animation is that value level. And like you said, you've got a little bit more than you would get with an all-star, right?
Yep.
So we were kind of the same on those, but I threw the French Quarter in there because I like it. All right. Last one is restaurants. Mm-hmm. I'm going to start this one.
Go for it.
All right. My first one's going to be Chef Mickey, and that is simply because I believe it is the quintessential character breakfast meal. And every family that says, where should we go get a character meal? That's where I send them. It's the perfect place, the one place that you should go. The next one on my list is Artist Point. Yet another character meal, but it's more upscale. You get a nicer meal, you pay a little more. You've been invited by the queen to be there.
Yep.
Now this is Snow White's evil queen, but you should still only call her the queen.
How evil is she? She invited you to her dinner, did she?
And for context of that, when we got to meet her, my daughter, who was, 6 at the time, she says, "How evil are you?" And she kind of freaked her out a little bit, but excellent meet and greet that we got to have with her. I just loved it.
Favorites, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And you get Dopey and Grumpy and Snow White coming out to say hello as well. And it was just a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. My next one is going to be California Grill, because California Grill. And I've professed California Grill many times. We've been up there a couple of times now, and it's been wonderful both times. And getting to see those fireworks from up there is always a great view. It's just been a great experience. So the final one is, and I've kind of gone mostly characters, because when you talk about eating at Disney, that's what you think of is characters, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm taking Cinderella's Royal Table within the castle. Again, you talk to people, that's what they want to do. They want to eat inside the castle. Mm-hmm. So that has to be on the Mount Rushmore of restaurants.
Not on mine, but I can see why.
Okay.
So two of mine match you. California Grill. For the reasons you said, it's just amazing. It's in the Contemporary.
Yes.
And you can watch Happily Ever After, which is looking over Magic Kingdom. So, it's just awesome. Like,
right.
Nothing, I don't have anything bad to say about it. Both times we've gone, it's been excellent. The service has been excellent. The food's been excellent. It's just a great place.
Yes.
And the other repeat I had of you was Chef Mickey's. Basically for the same reasons that you said. It's the Fab Five. It's good food. It's food that your kids are gonna eat.
Exactly.
You get to meet the most iconic characters.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, it's in the Contemporary, which apparently is my favorite resort because I keep saying that.
We could get into that at some point too.
Right.
How Contemporary seems to have become our favorite resort.
Yeah, which we weren't thinking it was.
No.
Anyway, so then I went Crystal Palace.
Mm-hmm.
it's decent food. Like, I'm not gonna go and say it's amazing, but for a buffet, it's decent food, and it gets you the Winnie the Pooh characters, which I think of when I think of Disney. A, because they're my favorite, but B, also like they're some of the older iconic characters to Disney, I feel like, besides
They are.
the Fab Five. So
Sure.
and then did 3 now, right? And then my last one was Ohana.
Oh, yes.
We've been for breakfast, we've been for dinner. Both were excellent. Depending on where you sit, you can see the fireworks.
Yep.
Just a great view all around, great drinks, great food. If you go in the morning, you get to meet Lilo and Stitch.
Mhm.
We've had great character interactions with them where they've taught the kids how to hula.
Yeah.
Just been a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. Yep. I completely agree with all of those. This was fun. I think this was a great way to talk about some of the stuff at Disney, that our Mount Rushmore.
I expected us to duplicate a lot with each other, and I'm surprised that we didn't.
No, and like I said, we did not talk about this ahead of time, and we did have a couple of duplicates in there, but thankfully it didn't go that way.
Right.
But it'd be great to hear what you guys think. What's your Mount Rushmore of rides, resorts, and restaurants? Text the show. Find us out on Facebook, Instagram. You'll find us at Miles from Main Street. Leave us a comment here on YouTube and let us know what you think, what you thought, and be sure to go share with a friend. So that's all we've got this week. But as we like to say, some live close
And others don't.
but others don't.
But others don't. I can never remember.
We'll get it one of these days.
Okay.
So let's talk about it. We'll see you next time on Miles from Main Street.